Welcome to all of you who are watching from near and far. Please check in on the chat box or leave a comment in the comment board and tell us where you're watching from, who you are, how you're connected to us. My name is Shelley Moore, and I've been living on South Whidbey Island since 1983 with my family. For the past 5 years, I've been on the board of directors of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition. And I'm here with my friend tonight, Joseph Marcelino. Joe?
Shelley, can you help me with my tie?
Whoa!
Whoa!
Joe, you look pretty formal tonight. I thought the invitation said curl up in your jammies with a cup of cocoa.
Shelley,
Here you are in a tux with a martini.
I think the pajamas were meant for the people at home, not us hosting this special event.
Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I feel so underdressed. But enough about me. Joe, tell us about yourself.
Well, I've lived on Whidbey Island for 23 years. My family moved here when my late wife, Dr. Lori Marcelino, was stationed at Naval Hospital up in Oak Harbor. We raised our 3 beautiful children in Whidbey Island schools, and we've been committed to the community since the day we moved here. I've been supportive of the work of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition since it began in 2014. And when Shelley asked me to co-host tonight, I just answered, I'm all in. That's in my Windermere blood.
Many of you have seen the tulips, peonies, roses, lilies, and dahlias that Joe grows in his garden for us to sell at the flower stand outside the Windermere office in Langley. Thanks, Joe, for doing that. And tell us about our program tonight.
We have a fun program tonight. Friends, we won't keep you long. You'll be back to normal life, whatever that means these days, before 8 p.m. But first, we'll see a fresh new 12-minute documentary made for Whidbey Homeless Coalition by Thriving Communities, starring our guests and staff. And next, we'll have a short visit with 2 of our wonderful staff that welcome overnight guests at the Haven Emergency Shelter in Oak Harbor, 365 nights a year. Then we'll have a visit from our North End Island County Commissioner Joel Johnson and our South End Island County Commissioner Helen Price Johnson. No, they're not sisters, but they do share a common concern for our neighbors in need and a very, very strong commitment to making our community thrive. After that, we have a surprise announcement, and we'll ask you to celebrate with us an exciting recent success. So stay tuned. And finally, at the end, you'll see a grateful tribute to our many volunteers, donors, and partners in a slideshow we call 100 Ways to Help.
But first, for those of you who RSVP'd in time, you've received a special thank you gift in the mail, and with instructions to not open it until we're all together tonight. So if you have those envelopes handy, why don't you go ahead and let's open them together. A dear friend of the coalition, Dan Imbergia, is an amazing artist, and he allowed us to reproduce one of his paintings of a butterfly as a thank you to all of you participating tonight. We tagged the top of the picture with a phrase that might sound familiar: love your neighbor as yourself. If you didn't RSVP before, it's not too late. Just go to whidbeyhomeless.org, find the events page, and you can register there.
And on the back of the card is a quote from Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, which we feel was perfect for this event. If you have your card, you can read it with me. It says, "The paradoxical truth is that a society is strong when it cares for the weak, rich when it cares for the poor, and invulnerable when it takes care of the vulnerable."
So that's what tonight is all about, to create that kind of society here on Whidbey, one that's strong, rich, and invulnerable. If you've been at any of our live events in the past, you'll have fond memories of live music and dancing, of sharing a meal together, and a deep sense of community. And I know this is different to be so distant, but my hope is that you will feel the same spirit and respond with the same generosity you have in the past to help our two shelters, the one on the north end and the one on the south end, be ready for the long winter ahead.
But now, without further ado, please join us in watching the crown jewel of tonight's event, the documentary by Thriving Communities.
We all have concerns about people outside in the weather, whether it's snowing or raining, windy. Anytime we look outside, there's always homeless people outside. We just don't see them. There's any circumstances out there. It doesn't matter. They're all human beings that need help. They find themselves homeless with no one and nowhere to go, and it's very hard to advocate for them if they don't have life skills or family members, or some of them don't even know where they want to go next.
On Whidbey Island, we're one of the only organizations right now that will shelter somebody no matter their situation. We've got a lot of really great programs, but a lot of them are very specific in the populations that they do serve.
About 3 years ago, after a horrible bout of 5 years in Tacoma, we came up here because my cousin helped me get a job and a place to stay with the Homeless Coalition, and just a new start to my life.
Lived in a car. Since we got here in 2017, we had a Ford Explorer, and around October of 2017 it died. So we were in a shelter for a little bit until January of 2018, where one of our coworkers sold us her old van. And it gets really depressing sometimes. So yeah, it's we're just kind of shoulders to lean on for each other, and we love each other.
5 years ago, I started drinking alcohol and using methamphetamine, and I started a CPS case, and my children were removed and put in my sister's home, and the day that they were removed, I decided to stop using drugs and alcohol to get my kids back.
If the Whidbey Homeless Coalition wasn't here, there would be no emergency night-to-night shelter in all of Island County. So that includes both Whidbey Island and Camano Island. There would also be no shelter providing services for the homeless south of Oak Harbor. So we kind of looked at what gaps existed on this island. No one's working on the south end. Who's going to do that? Okay, we'll do that. No one's providing that emergency night-to-night shelter for people that can't move directly into a program. Who's going to do that? Well, we'll do that.
So we're here in Oak Harbor getting ready to set up the shelter for the night. We set up a pop-up shelter, which means we set up and we tear down every single day. Today we have some further complications because of this snow, and with not having a permanent building of our own, we kind of have to look at where our guests are going to be able to go during the day.
We apply for temporary permits, and then we renew those every couple months. but what we really need is for a change in the legislation to allow for that shelter to even exist in those city limits. And a lot of that just comes from, I think it's taken the community a long time to realize that this issue, it is here, and that it's been here for a while, and that these aren't people that are flocking in from neighboring towns and neighboring states because of the great social services that are here. Because the reality is, in Island County, if you're coming to take advantage of social services, there's not a whole lot of them here in this rural community. There's a great loving community and a great group of people that rally around our community, but the services aren't necessarily here. When the weather gets especially nasty, sometimes we do hit that, so people will get there 30-40 minutes beforehand to make sure that they can secure a bed. We'll do the registration there at Grace by the Sea, fill out paperwork, see what services people might want connected to, and then people will sit there and wait. We'll bring in then a van, and we take people out to the Haven, which is currently set up in a church outside of the city limits. So we'll run 2 or 3 van loads of folks out there and get them settled in for the night.
They've given me and my fiance a nice chance to be housed, have some nice home-cooked meals for finally, because we've been living in a car since we got here, trying not to abuse any taxpayers, because we felt like burdens on them. And they're, well, like I said, they're really help our self-esteem, trying to look for work when it's really hard, because a lot of people don't want to hire homeless people.
The overwhelming amount of support that was given to me was life-changing for myself and my family, and I wanted to give back, and I came as a volunteer, and I'm still here, and I want to be able to give those same qualities to someone else so they can get into housing, so they have hope, so they succeed.
Kind of hurts because I feel like I did everything I was supposed to do, and I'm grateful for the House of Hope. To be honest, I wish I could just do it on my own,
Like, we have people come in that start out with, they have no clothes, no ID, no car, no home. Their children are currently in school, they don't have a job, and we'll just start with the basics.
In Washington State, one of the biggest things that's come in this last year is from the state and the county has been to really strive to work with the most vulnerable amongst us and to house them faster. Where that becomes very complicated is it's already incredibly difficult to get housed here in Island County and a lot of Western Washington, even if you have a job, even if you have great credit.
There's a very limited amount of affordable housing, and what affordable housing is available is, the waiting list is between 2 and 5 years, and when people hear that, myself included, that's the worst information you can give someone, because that means that you're waiting and it may not even happen.
I am grateful that they're here for me. I'm grateful that they could have a place for me. I would be lost without the House of Hope right now. I would. Their ability to connect with the community and help you out and help keep a roof over your head and food in your belly is priceless. Because I've been in this community for 3 years almost now, and they've never strayed too far. They're connected with the schools. They're connected with counseling. They're connected with rehabilitation. They're connected with everything that you and your family could need to get back on your feet. So being here, that's what that means to me, being here. It just they've given me a chance. They're the ones that said, hey, we think you're worth it. We know you're worth it. We're going to help you get there. And so that's what it feels like being in the House of Hope.
Helping our guests move into their homes, and they end up with their house full of furniture, all from the community. People step up and give cars. They help with food. It's amazing. So many people contribute.
So we recognize what strengths we have that other organizations don't, and in recognizing that we all have a limited number of dollars, just trying to make sure that we're not duplicating efforts. but in recognizing that we all kind of help the same populations, whether it's through, one group maybe making sure that they're fed, another group making sure that they're sheltered, making sure that we're connecting and helping each other make sure that our dollars are going as far as they can. Because we all do have a limited amount of money to help folks, and we want to make sure that we are as much as possible. So whether it's working with Good Cheer to make sure that people are getting food, or linking up youth that maybe come through the Haven with Ryan's House, or linking with Opportunity Council and others to provide trainings. It's all huge. No one of these organizations is the answer to the homeless problem here on Whidbey Island, but kind of all of us coming together and working together seems to form this community in the nonprofit world that kind of makes it work.
Wow, that was moving. Shelley, what happened to you?
Well, looking at you in your tux, I thought I better step up my game. But what happened to you?
Well, you look so cozy and comfortable, I thought I'd go more casual. Well, enough about us. We'd love to hear your comments and reactions to the documentary in the chat box. But more than that, for those who are in a position to do so, we'd love to see your heartfelt response reflected in a tangible way on the donate page of whidbeyhomeless.org/donate.
You know, the documentary is great, but because they were filming during the snowstorm that you saw, they weren't able to film on the north end. So we have asked two of our hardworking and warm-hearted staff from the Haven to speak about their work at our emergency overnight shelter that has been hosted and helped by Oak Harbor churches for the last 3 years. Would you welcome Crystal and Tangela?
Hi, I'm Crystal. I am the Haven Shelter Program Manager. I've been here for about 2 years. And my role here at the Haven is essentially helping folks get to the programs that they need to and connecting them with the services that they need. Here at the Haven, we do see a lot of people of all different age groups, from young adults to seniors. We do see a lot of people who have been priced out of housing of all age groups. We do see a lot of seniors who can't afford housing because their Social Security isn't enough or other factors. We do see a lot of families with children. And we also see a lot of people fleeing domestic violence, especially men. And so when we're looking at the number of people we serve each night, it's between typically 15 to 30 people on any given night. And we are open every night of the year. And so folks can come here, they can have a nice warm mat on the floor. We provide that, the bedding, some light foods like cup noodles, oatmeals and coffees and things like that. And we do see a lot of people from Island County. The majority of the people we serve are from Island County. They've been here their whole lives. Generations-long family lines, as well as businesses, college graduates, the whole thing. They've been here a long time. So when we see people that are entering homelessness, we try to intervene as quickly as possible, because the faster you're able to do that, typically the shorter duration. So we do try to connect them with these services as quickly as we can, and make sure that we're able to get folks connected where they need to be. So we have in the last year, we were participating in the housing of 43 different individuals. They came through our shelter and utilized our services. So last year we were involved in that, and this year we're on track with about 19 people who have been housed. And we've just had the opportunity to meet a lot of really amazing people and hear a lot of really amazing stories, and make a lot of new amazing friends. And so I would also like to introduce one of those friends who now works with us as well. Her name's Tangela, and she has an incredible story to share.
I'm Tangela London. I used the Haven services back in 2016, which was a help to me when I lost everything. I was in restaurant management and been making really good with my lifestyle doing that. But I got really sick back in the end of 2016, and I was diagnosed with lung disease. I had a stroke. I couldn't walk after I had the stroke. It took about 6 or 7 months into my time of staying at the shelter before I was able to walk. Staying at the shelter really helped me a lot. It was really emotional for me. It's kind of hard to talk about sometimes, and I just get kind of stuck in my speech about it. But I am so grateful to the shelter for what they've done for me, how they helped me in so many ways. They treated me like I was one of them. I wasn't treated as a person was less than because I was homeless. They understood my story. They were there for me, and they gave me all the tools that I need to succeed in getting my life back together. And once I got myself together, I just wanted to give back. I never looked at homelessness the way I look at homelessness now. I always thought you have a choice to make things better for yourself, but a lot of people really don't. And I learned firsthand what it's like. And right now I'm working here. I work through another nonprofit organization. I'm writing a book at the time. I'm just really happy. I have so much, and I just want to give back so much. Thanks to the Haven. The shelter needs to be here for people. We need to support the shelter because we have our sisters, our mothers, our brothers, cousins, or whatever, our family that needs this help. When we can't help them, the shelter will.
The Haven, to me, is a place where everybody can come and be safe and be warm, no matter their circumstances, no matter what's going on in their lives, no matter what's going on outside or in the world. And it's a place where people can come to be cared for and take care of one another. So we work really, really hard to make sure that everybody that comes here feels supported and realizes just how much they matter. We work really hard to make sure everybody feels like a valued person. And sometimes that can look like helping people fill out job applications, or even something as small as eye contact can make a huge difference. So we work extensively to make sure that we're able to ensure people realize that we're all the same, and they're not less than anybody else. They matter just as much as everybody else. And that homelessness isn't a life sentence. We can always work to make changes, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you've experienced that, because you're still a valuable person, you still matter. So I think that's one of our biggest missions, in part in making homelessness a brief and rare experience on Whidbey Island.
Tangela's story was truly moving.
Yeah. And Crystal's commitment is just inspiring.
Yes, yes it is.
Yeah.
Well, it is almost bedtime, isn't it?
Yeah. But a few more things. From the very first community forums that our founder, Judy Thorsland, organized at Bayview Hall to look at the growing problem of homelessness on Whidbey, our Island County employees and elected officials have been part of the conversation and the search for solutions. Two strong allies that we've had in that arena are our two Island County commissioners, Helen Price Johnson from the South End, District 1. Serving since 2008, she has been a long-term public servant and a proponent for affordable housing.
And Jill Johnson from Oak Harbor, serving District 2 since 2013. She also has been a very strong, dedicated advocate for affordable housing and behavioral health treatment. We want to thank them both for participating virtually with us tonight on behalf of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition.
Hi, I'm Helen Price Johnson, Island County Commissioner representing District 1, which is Central and South Whidbey Island.
And I'm Commissioner Jill Johnson, representing District 2, North Whidbey Island. And we're here today to show our support for the Whidbey Homeless Coalition.
In Island County, just like everywhere else across this country, we have a homelessness problem. Many people don't see it because of our rural nature, but we're so grateful that we have the Whidbey Homeless Coalition as a trusted partner to help us address this need. In fact, every year we participate in Island County as part of a national effort to try to count how many people are homeless in our community.
This federal point-in-time count happens on a single day, and we go out and count the number of individuals in our community who meet certain criteria that designate them as homeless. We know 143 people on that day were acknowledged as being homeless in our community. We are able to shelter 65 of those because of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition. But that 143 number doesn't even include people who are staying with friends or family in very tenuous situations where they could be asked to leave at any moment, couch surfing just from home to home based on their ability to provide a service to a friend. Maybe they're doing some yard work and they can stay in the house for a little while. Those folks don't even get counted, nor do individuals who don't have running water or electricity. The count doesn't recognize those who are living substandard as well. These are 143 people in Island County with no place to call home.
That's why we're so grateful to have the partnership of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition here in Island County. Counties across Washington State are charged with addressing homelessness, and recording fees for every real estate transaction are put towards addressing this problem. But with the help of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition, we're able to stretch those dollars because they're able to add volunteers and your generous donations to help stretch those few public dollars that we have. And I could not be more of a fan of the work that they do. They really rose up to meet a need that they saw here on Whidbey Island, and they have a well-organized nonprofit that you can trust.
In fact, the Whidbey Homeless Coalition is the only organization in Island County that the county works with and depends upon to deliver shelter services for families. So if you have a family that is experiencing homelessness and wants to stay intact, we depend on Whidbey Homeless Coalition to provide that service for our community. They are our only trusted ally to do that right now.
And they need your help. This is not a north or south problem. This is not a red or blue problem. This is our community. coming together to meet a need. And your support, whether as a donor or as an ally of the Whidbey Homeless Coalition, is greatly appreciated.
I was slow to the homelessness table. I wanted to pretend that this issue didn't exist in our community. I actually participated in the point in time count and talked to a classmate of mine who was experiencing homelessness. I knew how that individual grew up. I knew some of the difficulties they had in their life, and I counted that person on a form as somebody who did not have a home in our community, and it's somebody that I graduated with and somebody that I knew grew up here. To me, that was a very convicting moment to say that this is a community responsibility. It's not a transient responsibility. It's not just a regional responsibility. That these are our friends and our families and our community members who are going through some really difficult times. And having a place to shelter them is so important, and it is such a responsibility that we should all take seriously. I agree with my colleague, this isn't a north or a south problem, this isn't a red or a blue or even a political problem at all. It's a human problem, it's a community problem. And what we want to do is work together as a team to make sure that we have the right solutions to serve those folks in our community who need a little extra help when they're struggling.
And with the COVID pandemic, there are so many more families that are in crisis and are at risk of homelessness. There could not be a more important time for people to step forward and pull together, because when we all do well, we all do well. And we need to pull together to do well. One of the things that I really appreciate about the Whidbey Homeless Coalition is that they provide services, not just shelter, but they bring together the services and help people get connected. That's the partnership that we have with Island County, is to make sure that we can wrap around the services that people need to get them housed and to bring them out of crisis. That's the ultimate goal.
So write a check, add an extra zero. I mean, what value does that have anyway? And didn't you tell me that your moderator, Joe Massolino, was going to match every contribution dollar for dollar? Because I'm pretty sure I heard that. Well, it was worth a shot anyway.
Thank you, Whidbey Homeless Coalition, for all the ways that you help us be safe here in our community.
You're an easy organization to support, and as an Island County Commissioner, I think we are all proud to have you as a partner in our community.
Thank you so much.
Well, here we are, ready to close. But seriously though, I've always felt so blessed to live in a community that is so caring. You know, I do a lot of asking out there in the community. I ask for a pair of mittens or a sleeping bag at a garage sale. I ask for help for a car wash. I ask for a basket or a gift certificate for a silent auction, maybe cookies for a bake sale, and so many of you say yes. You know, I know many of you have a heart for the homeless and you want to give. And having to cancel both our fall and our spring fundraiser this year, we are going to face nearly a $25,000 shortfall in our budget that we were counting on. And I'll be straight with you. That's our goal for tonight, is to raise that.
At least 25,000.
We are so aware that this has been a tough year for many of you financially and emotionally. And so please know that we aren't asking those of you who've lost a job or a business or perhaps even the roof over your head or, heaven forbid, a loved one to give.
But some of you have had a good year. Some of you got a check from the president for $1,200 that you really didn't need. And some of you, no matter what, are the kind of neighbors that give sacrificially to help those less fortunate than you are. If 10 people would join us in donating the amount of that windfall check, $1,200, we would be more than halfway past our goal for the night.
I'm in.
Oh, very good. That is my challenge to you. You can give it all at once or pledge $100 a month for a year. You can do it anonymously, or you can inspire others by writing in on the chat box tonight and the comment board. We don't have a fancy thermometer or live accounting tonight, but we will give you our grand total in our thank you letters.
I know this isn't like a live event with the goodies of a dessert dash or the competition of a silent auction or the applause of Raise the Paddle. but your gift is more needed this year than ever. And of course, your gifts of $12 or $12,000 will be just as treasured and just as carefully stewarded. We're going to say goodnight tonight with a tribute slideshow.
Shelley, wait. I thought you said there was a surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Something about celebrating an exciting recent success?
Oh, yeah, Joe. Thanks for reminding me. I almost forgot. So the cat has gotten out of the bag a little bit with this news, but for those who haven't heard, we are so thrilled to announce that our nonprofit has received a grant from the Washington Department of Commerce to purchase our own permanent shelter. And we are working to buy a building here, and you might know this as the Kingdom Hall on Morris Road. The building is just north of the outlying field and kitty corner from Ryan's house. And we hope to be moved in and welcoming guests by Christmas. It's only 4 minutes from Island County Human Services offices. So watch for further announcements and a Haven housewarming there this winter. And so we will end with a slideshow we call 100 Ways to Help. It's a gratitude tribute to the many volunteers, donors, and partners that we've captured on slides, and for the many, many more we weren't able to catch on camera. And I invite you to imagine how you might join us as we move forward with our mission of
making homelessness a brief and rare experience on Whidbey Island. Thanks for staying with us. Enjoy the slideshow and sweet dreams.
Good night and God bless.
Good night to you, Shelley.
Good night.